They say the most powerful magic isn't found in a dusty tome or a hidden cave. It's found in the corners of our daily lives, the way we set our intentions and build a life that feels as sacred as it does successful. Welcome to the Coven's Corner. We're here to bring you grounded, accessible magic every Witchy Wednesday, and there's a seat at our table for you. So grab a cup of tea, and let's look at the world a little differently. Our circle is open. Let's begin. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Coven's Corner. Our circle is open, and we are so incredibly glad you've chosen to share this sacred space with us at our altar today. I am Kacey.
And I'm Dawn. Welcome back, everyone. We're so happy to sit down and connect with you all again. So before we jump into today's topic, let's do our weekly vibe check. Kacey, what's on your altar or your mind this week?
Well, on my mind is the absolute necessity of transition spaces. Lately, when I'm leaving campus after a long day of meetings and student support, the moment I step through my front door at home, I feel this intense energetic crash. It's like I'm bringing all of that residual stress, the emails, the corporate noise right to the living room with me. And as a single parent, I don't have hours to unwind. I need my home to instantly feel like a fortress of peace the second I walk in. What about you, Dawn?
Oh, I completely get it. On my altar this week, I actually have a big chunk of raw selenite and a fresh bundle of rosemary next to the entryway. Because on my mind has been this idea of home as a battery charger. In career services, I am absorbing people's anxieties all day long. If my home environment isn't fiercely protected and cleared, I just can't recharge.
Exactly. And that craving for a true energetic boundary is exactly what inspired today's episode. So in episode 8, we talked about warding your office and creating buffers at work. But today, we're pivoting back to your ultimate safe haven. We're talking about the threshold and the sanctuary. Exploring practical house witchery, cleansing your front steps, threshold protection, and how to make your home an absolute fortress against outside stress.
And I think it's so important that we make our home our sanctuary. You need to be able to walk through your door and leave all of the crud from the day on the other side of the threshold and know that you're walking into your sanctuary.
100%.
So this is going to be a really cozy, high vibe conversation. So let's lay the groundwork and talk about the most important line of defense, your front door.
So let's start right at the physical boundary where the mundane world meets your personal life, the threshold. A lot of times we think house witchery is just about what's inside your living room, but the real magic starts right on your front porch or your front steps.
Absolutely. The threshold is a literal liminal space. It's the border crossing. In traditional folklore, the threshold is considered a high sacred boundary because it dictates exactly what kind of energy is allowed to cross into your sovereign territory. If you leave it unguarded, any hitchhiking stress from your day just wanders right in with you.
Yes. So let's talk about the mechanics of a $0 threshold wash.
I like the $0 stuff that we do.
Yeah, me too. So this is a beautiful tactile practice that you can do on a weekend. You can brew a simple, strong herbal infusion using things you literally already have in your kitchen. Like rosemary for protection, lemon peel for clearing, and a handful of coarse salt to anchor the boundary.
And I love that combo. It smells so good. And it serves as a literal spiritual filter. You just take that cooled wash, go outside, and physically scrub your front steps, if you have them, and the frame of your door, wiping downward and outward away from the house. As you do it, you visualize any stagnant, heavy corporate sludge being completely swept away from your property line.
It changes the entire entryway vibe instantly. And once it's clean, you can layer your physical real-world wards. So a lot of practitioners love placing a protective crystal like black tourmaline right inside the door jamb. or even sprinkling a fine line of salt under the welcome mat.
Right. So it's all about creating an intentional filter. You're setting the rule for the universe. Stress can knock, but it's not invited inside.
Absolutely. And, you really need to, it doesn't need to be a big production. It's just a simple cleansing ritual. And, you already have most of the ingredients in your home. So it's something simple that you can do on, a regular basis to help just kind of clear out any of the negative stuff and prevent any more negativity from coming into your home. So really simple, easy way to just kind of clear the space.
I actually have a sign on my door that says, please be mindful of the energy you bring into my home.
Also a great one.
Yeah.
Okay. So our next segment, so now that we've secured the border, let's move past the mat and talk about the internal mechanics of making your home a fortress against outside stress.
So this is where we look at the layout of the house as an energetic grid. Think about how easy it is for negative energy to get trapped in physical corners or high traffic areas like the hallway or the living room couch, where everyone dumps their bags and their bad moods at the end of the day. So I know for me, that's one of the first things that I do. I come through the door, I take care of my lunchbox for the day, and then I go and plop myself down on the couch, and it's like, ugh. So, yeah. So we need to make sure that we're doing the things that need to be done to make that our sanctuary.
100%. Oh, the baggage dump zone is real. To combat that, we will need to establish physical and energetic anchors inside. So just like I use tourmaline and salt packets in the corners of my work office, I do love doing a subtle sweep and seal method at home. You can take a regular household broom, start at the back of the house, and intentionally sweep towards the front door, visualizing any lingering arguments, exhaustion, or anxiety being gathered up and escorted right out.
And it's important to remember that you have to combine your actions with the visualization, because if you're not, you're just sweeping dirt. Right? So make sure that you have in your mind the visual that any of the, and I always picture it as like a green funk or a black funk, and I'm just pushing it out the door because I don't want it in my home anymore. So, and don't forget the power of scent profiles here. We've talked about candles in our seasonal episodes, but using specific botanical sprays like a lavender and mint mist that you spray around your home, on your upholstery, on your curtains. Just make sure you test it before you spray anything on those, just in case the color changes a little bit. But it can give you an immediate energetic reset button. It breaks up the density in the air. So we've also talked about doing this with sound, and it's the same basic theory. For me, scent works better. You know how I am with my incense, with my nagchampa, and it helps me to see that is my space and feel that that's my space and my sanctuary, and I feel almost cocooned. That's just my area. Oh, Michael too. But just remember to use the visualization and whatever works for you, whether it's sound, whether it's scent, whether it's the visualization and the movement and sweeping out of your home. Do whatever works for you. You don't, just because these are suggestions that we're giving you doesn't mean it's a hard and fast. Your practice is your practice. Your home is your home, and you know what will work best for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So if, herbs aren't your thing, if they're not, what kind of goes with your magic, you might have a better energy resonance with crystals, using crystals to kind of like, ward around a space, and, you can use a crystal to kind of like clear up any negative energy too. And crystals are great because you can also cleanse the crystal to just release any negative energy that it has absorbed. So that's a great way to kind of like use that to kind of clear up, almost like one of those Swiffer cloths, just kind of like
true.
An energetic
like
Swiffer
that.
cloth, just to clear the space, and then charge that in the light of the moon, and all that negative energy just dissipates right away.
That's great. I like that.
And if that's not your vibe, maybe you want to take like feathers or some sort of elemental tools to use, like using water to spray around your home, or like I said, feathers or bells, or any sort of
candles, whatever it is,
anything that works for you.
Right.
So whatever you feel most called to work with, that should be what you're using. So you can use these techniques, same with any sort of tool that you want to use. So it really just depends on what works for your magic and what feels best for you.
Right. So I make a lot of different sprays.
Mm-hmm.
So I use witch hazel and essential oils. One word of advice: write down what you used, because I had one that I absolutely loved and it was empty and I had no idea what I had put in it or how much of what I had put in it. So now we're experimenting to see if we can replicate that. But just write it down. Learn from my mistakes.
I think we've all been there.
Yeah.
So, your home shouldn't just be a place where you sleep. It should actively feed your spirit. It should be your sanctuary. When you walk through that door, your central nervous system should just instantly register, I am safe, I am contained, the world cannot touch me here.
Yes, love that.
All right, let's move on to our next segment. All right, so let's throw a spicy, highly relatable hot take right onto that kitchen table. Is an untidy house a sign of an untidy spirit? Does navigating a messy kitchen, piles of laundry, or an unmade bed mean your personal magic is misaligned?
Oh, I have a lot of strong feelings about this one. Society, especially the curated aesthetic side of social media, makes us feel like a real witch's home must look like a spotless, candlelit apothecary. And you've all seen those pictures of, the fireplace and the cat perfectly laying in front of the fireplace on the rug, and all of the candles are the same height and they're all lit and the flames are the same size and everything is just perfect. But let's be real. When you're working full-time, managing a career, raising a family, survival mode happens. Clutter happens. And framing a messy sink as a spiritual failure is just capitalist guilt wearing a witch's hat.
Oh, don't I know it. So clutching the pearls over a laundry basket is exhausting. From my perspective, survival mode cleaning is a valid form of energetic clearing. Sometimes simply clearing off one single countertop or washing one favorite mug with total mindfulness is more powerful than a 3-hour deep clean.
Exactly. Magic meets you where you are. Your house doesn't need to look like a magazine to be a sanctuary. Contentment and peace are found in the intentionality, not in perfection. If all you can do today is light a single incense stick over a sink full of dishes, that is still beautiful, sovereign house witchery.
Absolutely. And we're all human. We're not perfect, and clutter happens. And hey, if you can keep a clutter-free home, good for you. That is not my house.
Do you want my address?
With a 6-year-old at home, our house is constantly in chaos, and you can't let it reflect your internal nature. And while yes, a cluttered mind can reflect in a cluttered home, your internal space is your own sanctuary. So as long as you're at peace in your internal sanctuary, it does not matter what your home looks like. It does not matter if you've got laundry piled on the bed that has been sitting there for 3 weeks.
And you sleep next to it.
You know what? Sometimes it's just comforting to have something on your feet. It doesn't matter if there's dust bunnies in the corner of your, hallway. It doesn't matter if, you're not scrubbing the toilet every other day.
Right.
You're doing your best, and as long as you are aligned internally, then your external home, as long as you feel peaceful in it, it's exactly how it should be.
Yeah, what it breaks down to, too, is that people need to stop being so judgy.
Mm-hmm.
Just, mind your business.
next segment.
Okay, so to help you ground this into practical daily routine, let's talk about simple hearth anchors that you can implement in under 2 minutes.
So my absolute favorite is the keys and coat transition ritual. When you come home, designate a specific dish or hook by the door as your mundane anchor. As you set your keys down, take off your coat or your work badge. Consciously visualize that you are taking off the role of professional employee or campus director. You leave that weight on the hook and it stays at the threshold.
So that is so simple and yet so powerful. Another great anchor is the sacred kettle. Before you jump into making dinner or checking homework or giving tub time, fill a kettle or a pot with water. Add a stick of cinnamon or an orange slice, lemon slice, anything that appeals to you, and simmer it on your stove for a few minutes. Let the rising steam carry your intention to soften the mood of your house.
It brings a beautiful, immediate warmth to the kitchen, and it's an auditory, visual, and olfactory cue to your brain that the workday is officially over and the sanctuary is active.
I love that. That's a great idea. It really gives you that separation.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
And honestly, it's a cue to your mind, it's a cue to your family, it's a cue to the energy of the household that this is time for peace, this is time for rest, this is time for relaxation. It's not about stress, it's not about the to-do list, it's not about that goal setting and getting shit done.
Mm-hmm.
It's about really truly just taking a moment to reset and re-anchor yourself to your peace and to your internal sanctuary.
So what works for me, rather than doing a kettle of water with the cinnamon stick, I make a cup of tea. And the whole process of making the cup of tea, taking it in the other room, sitting and sipping, that's where I transition from work to I'm home and I can let things go. So that's what personally works for me.
For me, it's going over and just making sure my son is being fed. So
that's a good thing. Yeah,
it's a good thing. No, it's honestly like just being able to shed the work stuff and being able to just kind of like put that all aside and focus on what you're there for, which is your family. If you've got kids, if you've got pets, if you've got plants, any sort of thing that you're taking care of, or that's taking care of you. You want to be there for that, because at the end of the day, your job can replace you in a week, but your family can't.
Right. So
really setting up those energetic boundaries and setting that intention that your home is your sanctuary, and that professional stress, that corporate sludge that we've been talking about can't touch you in your sacred place.
I like that. I like it. Okay. Candle number 5 for the 5 points. You all remember that, right? So it really does shift the atmosphere in your home. And we want to hear about how you all practice your sanctuary or protect your sanctuaries, which brings us straight to our Consulting the Coven for next week.
Yes. So look at your own living space and tell us, what is one simple go-to practical routine or physical anchor you use to shake off the outside world when you walk through your front door? Email your threshold secrets to us at covenscornerpodcast@gmail.com.
So when we ask for things like this, yes, we want to hear your stories, but in all honesty, it gives us ideas too of things that we can try. So please don't hesitate to send these thoughts and your ideas along. And again, if there's a topic that you'd like us to talk about or you'd like to learn more about, please drop us a line and let us know. Okay?
Absolutely. We're always looking for new ideas. We're always looking for things that our listeners and our watchers want to know. So we do this for you as well as ourselves. So let us know.
Give us feedback. We love it. Okay, so before we blow out or click off our candles today, let's anchor this entire conversation with our weekly spark. Everyone find a comfortable position in your chair. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears and gently close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath all the way down into your diaphragm and release. Imagine a glowing, warm, golden light igniting right at the corner of your home's threshold. See this light stretch upwards and outwards, tracing the frame of your front door, your windows, and your walls, creating a solid, luminous shield over your entire living space. With your next inhale, feel the profound relief of this boundary. Inside this fortress, the demands of the modern world have no power. You do not have to perform, produce, or carry anyone else's stress here. You are completely safe, contained, and sovereign in your sanctuary. Take one more deep, empowering breath, feeling your home space wrap you in total comfort. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes.
Welcome back to the center, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us at our altar today. Make sure to scrub your steps, lock those thresholds, and fiercely protect your peace this week. You can follow our weekly updates on Instagram and TikTok at Coven's Corner Podcast. And we'll be back next Witchy Wednesday.
May your roots be steady, your breath be deep, and your magic be close at hand. Until next time.
Stay magical, everyone. Be well. As we close the circle for today, remember that the magic doesn't end with this episode. Keep looking for the magic in the mundane. If you enjoyed today's conversation, we'd love for you to connect with our Coven. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Coven's Corner Podcast and at www.thecovenscorner.com. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a Witchy Wednesday. We'll see you next time.